what is it from True North? It says Pierre Poilievre won't say if he's committed to lowering the number of permanent residents Canada admits every year, but says we have to have a smaller population growth. There is no question about that. I think it's implied in his statement. You guys let me know what you think. Let's take a listen.
Do you want to see a reduction in the number of permanent residents that are admitted to Canada in the next 2 years? It's at 500,000 right now.
We have to have a smaller population growth. There's no question about it. We cannot grow the population at 3 times the rate of the housing stock as Trudeau has been doing. We need to have a growth rate that is below the growth in housing, healthcare, and employment. If you want if you want an idea of how I would run the immigration system overall, it's the way it was run for the 30 years prior to Trudeau being prime minister. We had a common sense consensus between liberals and conservatives for 3 decades that screened people to make sure they were safe, only brought in the numbers that we could absorb into our housing, healthcare, and job market, and blocked temporary foreign workers where they were taking jobs from Canadians. That was a common sense consensus that existed before Justin Trudeau, and the radical and out of control NDP Liberal government destroyed our system.
I like True North. I feel like they're nitpicking there a little bit. I think he was pretty clear on that. I think that was pretty clear and concise and pretty forthright. That's what I want to hear. I want to hear more of that. I don't think it hurts them. I think that the days of where immigration being the sacred cow in Canada, those days are over, right? Enough people have reached that line where it's affecting their own lives enough, because every single problem in Canada right now is connected to Trudeau's mass immigration. Every problem in Canada is connected to that, because healthcare, what's going on with healthcare? Well, I mean, I guess nobody in the Trudeau administration thought that, okay, well, look, how many hospital beds do we have, per 1,000? How many hospital beds per 1,000? How many doctors, how many nurses per 1,000? They didn't do any of this math. They didn't say, well, how many residences do we have? How many apartments are there? How many houses are there? What kind of traffic can our infrastructure handle? Can our highways handle? Can our cities handle? How many people can the infrastructure handle? How many police stations do we have? How many police officers per 1,000 do we have? Nobody asks these questions. So I want to hear more of this from Pierre Poilievre. I think it's fairly explicit. You've got to tie it to the infrastructure. You've got to tie it to the logistics, the national logistics. How many jobs are there? How many houses are there? What will actually work? It has to be tied to some math, right? You have to do some math around this. There has to be planning, basic planning, right? And if he actually does this, I will be happy. That will make me happy. That will be 1,000 times, 1 trillion times better than what we've had under Trudeau.
We have to have a smaller population growth. There's no question about it. We cannot grow the population at 3 times the rate of the housing stock as Trudeau has been doing. We need to have a growth rate that is below the growth in housing, healthcare, and employment.
Below healthcare, housing, and employment. So that is called anchoring your policy to reality, right? Which has not been the case. If he does that, that's good. I will support that. If he betrays us, I will be jumping ship from the Conservatives. I'll go to the PPC. I'm hopeful. I'm cautiously optimistic that he's going to do what he says. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. Please like, share, and subscribe. Subscribing really helps me out. I thank you for that. I will see you next time.